Man, even to go live, my intro music is gonna be 5 seconds. All right, everybody. I think we're live. Every possible tech issue that you can imagine is just happening right now. And welcome to the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. It's Phil and I'm back, and I'm probably gonna cut out this intro music because my internet, the computer, everything decided to go bonkers exactly now, as is usual for this show. This show loves me. That's enough intro music for tonight. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get this show on the road. Peter's in there. He got in there at the last minute. What's up, Peter? We're gonna try to keep it light and easy tonight because the internet is not helping. How you doing, Mister? You can
Well,
hear me?
same as always,
Oh,
but
there you go.
maybe hope for the future.
There's Peter. Well, I can't say there's always hope for the future, but there's a good chance of hope for the future. Let's put it that way. I'll be slightly less pessimistic about the future. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you can hear me. If you can't, please let me know because I'm having every technical issue possible from microphone to computer to internet. And it started 5 minutes before the show, as is usual for the Brazil Expat Journal. But anyway, guys, I'm so happy to have you here. I want to thank everybody that's been following the page. We just got some new subscribers. I think we got about 30 or whatever, 100. I don't know. It was a big number. So thank you guys that have been supporting everything, and we're reaching a hundred. I was gonna say 1,000, Pete. Maybe one day we'll reach 1,000, but we're getting to 100 episodes, which is kind of crazy considering everything that this show has gone through, from being recorded to then going live to then all the internet issues to to then just stopping for like 6 months and coming back. But the Brazil Expat Journal keeps going and going, just like me and Pete. We figure shit out. Ooh, I can't say curse words. Yeah, Pete. Listen, Pete, I gotta be like hardcore with the curse words, man, because like YouTube really is screwing me. If we say one bad word, it's like it just will not promote a video. And it's crazy. So yeah, we gotta be really like good Catholic boys on the Brazil Expat Journal. Do our best to be that. Now, guys, tonight's episode is going to be a little bit freewheeling. Okay, the as you can see, the title here is Radical Brazil, because one thing that attracts a lot of visitors to Brazil is the radical sports and all the stuff that you can do down here, even just from going to a, what do you call that, Amazon, a trip in the Amazon, or climbing mountains, surfing, paragliding. Brazil is full of stuff to do, and a lot of that stuff is really fun to do. I think that's a good reason to come to Brazil. It's one of the eco nature tourism like hotspots in the world, one of the greatest. But as is usual in Brazil, in anywhere in the world, really. But I think a little extra in Brazil because they do things a little, sloppy sometimes here. Is you got to be careful, guys. You got to be careful. Who you go to get these tours and zip lining and all this stuff. And we'll talk about an accident that happened recently. Two accidents. One was with a bungee jumping, and another one was with two helicopters crashing. So shield your eyes if you don't want to see anything graphic, but it's pretty sad and pretty crazy. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But before we go
There's
there,
been this
I
weird
think
spate
something
of
that we
accidents at
should
the
talk about, Pete.
subways in Sao Paulo as well. Apparently, like
Ah,
people have been falling
good. I
off
was
the
gonna tell you that.
platforms
Yes.
but not so much the subways. It's the CPTM. People, particularly children, have been falling off the platforms,
I
and
just
I'm not. I think
saw
it's
that
because it's
today.
children.
Yeah,
Yes,
when I
yes,
got
I
home
saw
today,
it
I went
too.
on Instagram. That was the first thing I saw, was like the little kid fell and the train went over
Yes,
her,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I
Yeah,
know, and she
it was just a
lived
little girl.
apparently too. Yeah.
Let me see if I. Yeah, she must have. Criança cai na trilha do trem. I'm writing here in Portuguese. CPTM. So sorry, guys. Everything crashed, so I closed a lot of stuff. Uh, Let me see. Where can I get this? I can get this here on Instagram. And oh, it didn't open right. Give me 1 second, guys. Thank everybody that's listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, let me share this, Pete. We'll see if we can do something tonight with this crazy internet here. Although my computer is like 100 years old. Next year, definitely new computer for Phil. All right. Well, this is one peak because the other one's taking forever to open. But check this out. These are just photo stills, you know. So she's getting ready to jump here. But what do you notice, Pete? What do you don't notice? In fact, it's like they forgot to put the rope on, and there you go, and bam, yeah, there's the rope right there. So that is really sad. She plummeted to her death.
Yeah.
But this is what Pete was talking about right here. Let's see if that opens.
Was
It's
she
a
a
child that
Brazilian or was
looks to
she
be
a
between 3 and
tourist?
4 years old, fell in that little, I don't know, probably a Brazilian kid. I mean, stuff happens. But look, there's the train. At first, it's confusing because you see the train first, but that's because the camera and eventually, if the video stops lagging, you would see that she oh no, I'm not even sharing that. Yeah, today is going to stop sharing everything, and I'll figure that out a little bit later. But yeah, so Pete is correct. There's been a lot, and a lot of also, oh, there it is, in a lot of muggings too, Pete. I've noticed in the subway train. That's different than before. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff happening. And there was just this accident with two helicopters, which is really tragic. It was, I think, an American singer who died. 6 people died. It fell in Rio. There's a lot of stuff going on in Brazil, man. But here's the video. I think now it's gonna play, Pete. Let me know if you can see it on the screen. Anything?
No, I'm just seeing black.
What's up, life is? And it's one of those shows where we're just trying to get through. We're fighting against sharing today. There will be no sharing the videos today because that is just killing everything. What a wonderful start to a show, but we will get to 100, I promise. Uh, all right, life is. Am I lagging less now? Let us know out there in the audience what's going on because from my end, it is horrible, guys. Uh, I'm kind of, well, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say I'm like that girl bungee jumping without the rope. I was gonna say that, but I didn't. See how nice I am. But okay, yeah. So no screen sharing tonight, guys. If you want to see the video, it's easily found, and it's kind of, and maybe it's best I don't show it because then I'll get hit with some copyright stuff. But yeah, the guys like you saw in the picture, they put her up in their arms, threw her over the bridge. She was 23 years old, and she died in the helicopter accident too. You can find images of that online because some people caught it on camera, and it's pretty messed up too. But I wanted to ask about the World Cup, but Peter didn't answer. I don't know if he can hear me because I was all lagging. But
Yeah,
did
I
you
can hear
watch,
you
Pete?
now. I can hear you now.
Oh, good. Yeah, no screen sharing tonight. That's not happening because that is
Right,
killing everything. So, Pete, did
right.
you watch the game?
I hadn't intended to, but actually, a buddy of mine and I went to a pizza restaurant here in the neighborhood, and of course, they were showing the game, so we didn't have any choice. And my friend who is Brazilian was really cynical about it. Because like the whole reason we went out for pizza is because he wanted to get out of the house where his family was watching the game. He's like, I don't want to see this shit, man. Like, you want to meet me for a pizza? So I was like, okay. But of course, the restaurant we went to was showing the game. And yeah, he was giving this like really accurate running commentary. He's like, nothing's gonna happen here, man. Nothing's gonna happen. He's like, oh look, wait, they almost scored a goal, but they're not going to, and no, they didn't. And it's funny because his commentary was not only exactly what the game was, right? Because nothing happened. It ended in a 1-1 draw. But like
Yes.
nobody at the restaurant was even interested in it. Like most of the people had their backs turned to the screen. The street was silent. Nobody cared. Nobody cared because it was so fucking boring.
Well, it wasn't that it was so effing boring, Peter. Come on, we gotta
Sorry,
cut the
sorry.
curse
Pardon my
words.
French.
It's
Pardon my
because
French.
it's okay. I do it myself. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, apologize to YouTube, not me. I could care less. I curse like saying is not that the game was boring for being boring, is because Brazil just has a shitty team, and that like
You
they
you just
almost
did it.
got beat
You
in the
just
first
did it.
round. What?
You used curse words.
I I know. Oh yeah, so catch me, guys, because I'm the worst at cursing. I'm the worst. Yeah, so this YouTube regulation here is killing me because I do curse like a sailor. But I think it's just the teams suck, Peter. Like I was kind of having running commentary in this WhatsApp group I'm in, and the first thing I said is like, man, I have never seen the Brazil team play so badly. Not even when they got beat 7-1. At least, I mean, the memories of that game is at least they tried. Like they didn't want to be so embarrassed, so they looked like they were trying. By the end, they got really dejected, and it was different. It's different than that dejection than just like we're playing badly, right? Which was man, it was like the worst. So
Yeah,
they're lucky they
but
came out of that one
Morocco
alive.
didn't.
Thank you, Vinny Jr. for
Morocco
like
didn't
one of
look
them.
like they were playing that well either. Like it just I don't
Oh,
know. To
Peter, they
me,
were.
it
They were.
epitomized soccer. Like you have to take chances to win, and neither team was
Yes.
really willing to take chances. And when they found
I
themselves
disagree.
in
Yeah.
rare opportunities where they could score, they couldn't because that's the kind of safe soccer that Africa and South America plays. It's not like the more wide open European form of soccer.
See, I would disagree. I think the Europeans have a more closed game, and I think the Brazilians, because a lot of the players have gone to Europe, and there's actually sports commentators that complain about this. Brazilians lost that fun, like Marcos was talking last week, that soccer used to have, where they're just like they're throwing the ball between people's legs. Like this game, at least one guy did one of those hat things where you kick the
Yeah,
ball over the person, which was cool. It's like that's Brazil soccer, and Brazil itself has been playing so safe for at least the last this whole generation since Neymar up, and it's not exciting. Like today, I was watching on the news the sports commentators, and they were like, "Man, like they don't even scream at each other to be like, I got the ball, I got it." It's like it's just really boring and mechanical, and like these kids seem like they don't have a passion for the game; they have a passion for the money. In Morocco, I totally disagree with you. Maybe it's because you don't watch soccer as much; you don't notice when the team is going for it. That first half, Morocco was going for it, man. They had so many chances at goal. They were kicking, kicking, kicking. It's just that it's hard to get a goal. You got to kick a ball past like six people. It's not an easy thing to do, plus the goalkeeper. But they did get a goal, and I was like, oh man, this might be like an early 7-1 from Morocco. Uh, so I think it's this, Pete. Like, now, on another note, a team surprisingly that played amazing was the U.S. team. Go USA, like they were playing hard. I think they won 4-1 against, well, we'll find out now. I think it's Panama, I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I just watched the highlights. In fact, here's some highlights right now, direct from our friend Lee Andrade that was on last week. So I will try to share this. Let's see if this goes because I did promise him I would play this because I love this, guys. So these are the best goals from the U.S. game right here. If it plays, which it will. There it is. Oh my God. I think it's going to work, Pete. I think it's going to work.
To be remembered, and all the crowd and craze, and then they sing together. Fearless striker, is not afraid of
Yeah, nice lag.
the fearless striker. Score another one for
It's not
us.
working. Nothing is working tonight. Thank you, Sao Paulo. Thank you, Brazil. I don't know what's going on here, guys. But yeah, Lee Andrade, who was on last week, he made this little video of the 4-1 game there.
Go was a blessing, but a
There
shot
you
to
go.
be remembered, and all the crowd and craze, and then they sing together. That was
It won't play. Sorry about that, guys. But please follow Lee Andrade. I will get some way to play this at some point. Uh, because the World Cup is not over yet. There's going to be more versions of these little clips here from Lee Andrade, and I'll play a few more. But tonight is not happening. But yeah, the U.S. played really well, and they were really aggressive, and they look like front runners for once, which is crazy. It's crazy. So, congrats to the U.S. and congrats to the Knicks. The Knicks, who's here from New York? I got a lot of friends from New York. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I don't hate them. I just like I'm not from the area, so I could care less. But congrats to all you New Yorkers out there listening to the show, keeping us alive. Sorry for the technical issues here tonight, but sometimes that's how it is. We keep the show going. Peter, another thing that's happening here in our beautiful city of São Paulo, but all across Brazil, is Festa Junina. Do you know what
Hmm.
Festa Junina is? Because I had a friend that didn't know. I was like, how do you not know? You've been here like for 2 years. Do you know what that is?
Of course I know. Of course I know. It's like it's
Tell
basically. I
us.
mean, every country has it. It's basically a traditional winter harvest festival, but it's a bit weird here because we're in the southern hemisphere. So winter harvest festival actually falls in June, which for those of us in the northern hemisphere is normally summer. So it's a bit backwards, but it's the same basic idea. It's just
It's
like
backwards to you. You're backwards to us.
exactly. It's like reap your last harvest, make love, drink, be merry, because next year
So
may not come. That's where its roots are in. But it's
tomorrow you
celebrate
die.
exactly. But it's celebrated in a really cool way. And I don't know about other cities, but Sao Paulo has a lot of cool ways of celebrating it. There's public festivals all over the city. My favorite is actually at the Latin American Memorial. I'm not sure what date it is this year. Usually it's in the second weekend of June, so it's probably already happened. But sometimes they do more than one, and they put on a
Mhm.
really good soup spread. They have live music, and lately they've added pro wrestling, which is weird because I didn't know Brazil had pro wrestling, but apparently they do.
I
So
love
yeah,
it.
you get that crazy mashup in there,
They
and
do.
it draws crowds of like
I've seen
over a
pro
million people.
wrestling here a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's free. It's free to go to. Of course, you have to pay for your food and your drinks. The drinks are usually provided by microbrews, and they're not that expensive, so that's nice. The
Yeah.
food
And that's the thing
is
that's cool about Diplomatic, by the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The food is mid range. The biggest problem with the food, the nice thing is you have a lot of choice. The downside is because there's a million people there, you will be waiting in line for hours. Like you have to wait in line for an hour just to place your order, and then it's going to be like another 45 minutes to get your food. But The atmosphere is usually worth it.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, a lot of parties in Brazil in general, it's all about the
Parque
atmosphere.
Villa
I mean, I've
Lobos
gone to
usually
parties.
has
I'm
one
not a
as
fan of
well.
sertanejo music, not like the pop sertanejo. Oh, see, we're lagging tonight. Yeah. Can you hear me, Pete? Are we good? But yeah, but when you go to these parties, it's like sertanejo, or they're playing pagode, or they're playing like a type of music you might not be into, because you are there for the vibes, and Brazil is full of that. And by the way, guys, on the channel, I mean, I would share it if I could, but I can't even open a tab here, and it won't lag. Cup and Festa Junina. So if you go on Phil in Brazil, like the YouTube page, and just put in the search engine Festa Junina. What is Festa Junina Festival? Real nice video I did about, I don't know, 3 4 years ago, and got a lot of views. People really liked it. They said there was one lady says he showed it to her friend in the US, and it really helped to explain a little bit. 1 second, I just need to yell at somebody. Oh, never mind. Anyway, and so check that out. And the cool thing about it too is like what Pete said, a lot of the parties are free, and you just go to them. Now, where do I find the Festa Junina party? Okay, that's a good question. Well, first, Google will help you, but usually, man, just go to like the local churches. Like if you're walking around Sao Paulo, Rio, anywhere, all the local churches are usually the ones, and schools too. Schools will have Festa
And
Junina party. My
big
school where I
parks
work,
too. Big parks.
yeah, those can depend, like depending on what acts come to those, because they're big. Those can end up expensive, but you may luck out and go to a few that are set up by the prefeitura, the mayor's office, and it'll be free. But when you go to the school ones, well, actually, I take that back, because sometimes the schools also charge, but it's cheap. It's like 20 reais, and then with the tickets, you buy raffles to play games. Bingo is very popular and stuff like that. So it's
Hmm.
cute. I prefer Festa Junina to Carnival. It's a little bit more laid back, and the food is delicious. When they have this great drink called quintão. If you translate it literally, it means the big hot, and it's ginger tea with cachaça. Man, that is so good, and they just make it like it's just right, the balance of the cachaça with the ginger. And yeah, and another one that's really good too. And guys, it sounds weird, but trust me, it tastes good. Is this thing called hot wine, and that's exactly what it is. It's hot wine, and I think why it works is the reason why I don't like Brazilian wine when it's cold, because it's kind of sweet, right? And then I guess when you heat it, maybe something happens with the sugar. It doesn't taste as sweet, but you can still taste the sweetness of it. So it's not weird drinking a wine that's hot, because it is a little bit sweeter. Because regular wine hot, I don't know if I'd be down for that. But so
Yeah,
check
that's a
out those
popular
two.
Christmas drink in Canada. Mulled wine, we
Really?
call it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you heat it with cloves and various spices, and so it's not
Okay.
just
So
that it's hot wine, but that it's seasoned in a variety of different ways. So
yeah.
it
Well, that's the
becomes a
thing, because
completely different drink.
I think the what do you call it? That helps with both that wine and this wine, because just drinking raw hot wine does not taste very good. Let me see what's in the ingredients here. I never actually looked that up. Vinho quente ingredients. What's in this thing? Because I just figured they heated up the wine, and the sugar itself already kind of makes it a little bit more palatable. But I could be wrong. Let me see if they add some spices and stuff. They definitely do to the quintão. The quintão, you smell it before you taste it. It's so. Now here just says one bottle of red wine. Most prefer sweet, suave. 1 or 2 cups of water. Man, they add sugar. Oh my god. Oh no, but here they put some whole cloves, some anise,
Yeah,
which is nice. Maybe some ginger. I haven't had a hot wine with that tasted like it had that much stuff in it, but I guess those are optional. Quinto, definitely I prefer. And then you have the
Yeah.
rapadura, you have all the candies and the man. You leave Festa Junina fat, okay? And it's just
Mhm.
delicious, delicious food. And my favorite type of music ever, which is forró, like but the ground, like what? Not ground forró. Here they call it jahais, roots for her, kind of like listening to like bluegrass music. Like I'll go on a Peter, like the last couple weeks I've been on this Dolly Parton, like whatever, like
Mhm.
she's my world right now. I've been watching, like I watched 9 to 5, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and I
I
was
saw that in the
re-listening.
theaters, man.
Oh, it's hilarious, it's so campy. And
Mm.
but I've been listening
Texas
to
has
her
the
albums.
whorehouse in it.
And listening to, like, she released like in like the 2000s, she released this set of like 3 or 4 like real rootsy bluegrass albums back to back. Man, that is like going to heaven, like listening to Dolly Parton singing old bluegrass. And when I think of Brazilian, like the raiz sertanejo, it's that feel. It's just an old dude on the guitar and just talking about how life is miserable. But
Yeah,
at least
yeah,
he
that's
has his
what Dylan
lucinda.
went back to in the later days, like in the
Mhm.
in the late in the 90s and the
Yes.
2000s after Dylan did all this electronic shit. He just went
Yes.
back to like doing root stuff and that gravelly voice and singing songs about the Titanic and the Kennedy assassination and
I like
just
stuff like that. Yeah, it's nerdy music,
yeah,
and I love it.
just like almost like giving monologues, but through music. And there was a
Uh,
certain way about the way he did it, where he was saying, "Okay, I'm just doing this for myself because I'm fucking Bob Dylan. And if you don't like what I'm
exactly.
doing, that's okay. I'm doing it for me. But I hope you do like it."
Exactly. Yeah, and I like that feel. And when you listen to these artists, you can feel like different than the boys playing soccer right now. They actually do it because they love that music, and it's a music that once you start to get into the lyrics of it, you get the story of Brazil because it's folkloric music. It's rootsy folk music, and especially that movie that I watched, Pete, that Black God, White Devil or something. Wonderful movie, by the way. Easily top 10 movies I've watched in a very long time. Um, a lot of the music there, man, the soundtrack is beautiful. It's just this guy on his guitar. It's reminiscent. I shouldn't say reminiscent because probably Sergio Leone stole from. Actually, he probably watched this movie because there's a lot of spaghetti western
Well,
in this
when did it
movie.
come out?
It came out in 60 something, I think, which I think is before Leone. Leone wasn't he late 60s, 70s?
No, no,
This
he
movie was
started in the early '60s, so around the same time.
okay. Maybe they
But
borrowed from each other,
his
but you
music
definitely
score
feel
guy
it.
was Ennio Morricone, who had been
Oh,
around
one of
for
the
a
best.
lot longer than that.
Yeah, for a long time. But I'm talking about just the feel of it, because as it's almost like the troubadours. Is that right? Like as something is about to happen, it's just this guy on his guitar saying, "And there comes the lone killer. He's gonna kill somebody today, but he feels really bad about it. But he's got to do it because that's his destiny." And you're like, "What?" And it's wonderful. And you're like, it just sets the mood before every great scene in that movie. And guys, please watch that movie. It is amazing. So you get this forró, you get the sertanejo. In fact, I just set up a new Patreon, guys. So it's coming. It's coming. We put a lot of work into the show, despite some of the technical issues in the beginning. But my old Patreon, actually, one of the things I had on there was me kind of playing DJ, and I put about 12 or 20 songs that I really love from the Festa Junina era, and I can't post that on YouTube, obviously. So it was on there, and I had one version that it was just a set list, and then one that was me kind of playing DJ and explaining a little bit, about the songs. So I might do that again. I might download it from there and upload it because I got a new Patreon now that connects to this channel. And then I'll post it on there. But then if it's just for the songs, you know what I can do, folks, for you, because I love you, and I'll post it in the comments. I'll just make a playlist on Spotify. And then I'll post a link on the comments, and you can listen to some really good Brazilian folksy music, which is playing all around at this time here in the Festa Junina. You can tell I love Festa Junina, right? Pete's like, all right, can we move on? Can we
No,
move
no.
on?
I wish I could have gone this year actually because it is really fun. But unfortunately, I'm still kind of poor, so my budget for
There's
this
one.
month
There's. Mhm.
was a movie and a new pair of shoes. When that
Oh
was it.
yeah, you saw the Mandalorian and you saw the gays.
I did,
Listen,
yeah.
right close to your house. There's that. Speaking of churches, there's that church right by Instituto Butantan, and they have one. But I'm sure on the
Mm.
way, man, even like near where you live, where there's that kind of cul-de-sac area, there's probably gonna be some open air parties. Enjoy a little bit. Uh, maybe you won't be able to
Yeah, but the
buy
one
a
at the Latin
hoodie.
American Memorial is the best, man. That one is
Oh, I'm
huge.
sure, but
Like it draws
mhm.
millions of people, man. And the food
Yes.
is
Oh,
so good. The soups are incredible.
the
They're
soups,
over
the caldos. Yeah, here they call it
Yeah,
caldo.
they're overpriced. They're
Yeah,
overpriced, and I swear it takes an hour just to place your order. Once you place your order, though, it's actually not like the other food stands because at those places, like, it takes an hour to place your order, but then it takes another hour to get your food. But the soups are made ready to serve, so at least when you place your order, you get your soup immediately. It's not like if you
I
go to
got
the
you.
Mexican place where they have to take another 30, 45 minutes to make it. But yeah, I mean, the Latin American Memorial in general is a good place to go for food festivals because they have a variety, a great cross section of people, music. But Festival Junina draws like the biggest crowd of them all.
I agree. And I want to thank everyone that hung in through our little technical difficulties at the beginning, including being late because of them. But it seems like we've got it sort of settled. And it was funny because El Camelointi, I can never pronounce that. I just call him El Camelo, which is probably the right pronunciation, right? Anyway, he had just complimented us. I had sent that screenshot even to Peter. I was like, "Look, Peter, we're doing good work," because he had commented on how the show sounds really good, including the audio. He's like, "Oh, it seems like he got those audio issues fixed." And definitely Vivo, it was an upgrade, guys. So if you're coming to Brazil long term, stay away from Claro, Net. It's just issues. It used to be amazing. I used to come on this show all the time and be like,
I,
"Get
I'm
Net,
I'm
get
using
Net."
Claro now, but the problem
Yeah,
is it goes down randomly. So
that's what
when
I'm
it when it
saying.
when it's working, it's good.
It's
But
incredible.
I had the same issues with Vivo, so I don't see much difference.
Yeah, Vivo's been nice. Although I just got a notice that maybe I didn't pay my internet bill yet. So maybe that has a little thing to do with it. But I don't think so because otherwise the internet would have been bad completely. But I'm gonna pay that. But what do you call it? I miss when they send paper to your house so you remember to pay stuff. By the way, now everything's electronic. I forget everything, guys. So I'm not saying that like poor, I'm poor. I'm just saying that like I just forget because nothing comes to your house. There's no paper trail anymore. Everything's
Well,
digital,
yeah, but
so
normally
it's
they
tough to
send it by
remember.
WhatsApp.
No, mine doesn't. It comes through email, and then I've tried changing it. I gave up because mine comes through
Yeah,
email. So I was checking my email, and I saw a notice. Hey, you got to pay your Vivo bill, or you got to go in the app. But like, who has time? Like, who's going in the Vivo app? Like, woo, let me go in the Vivo app.
I get regular
So it.
reminders from Claro that like, dude, you don't pay your
Oh, but
phone bill, your number's gonna get canceled.
oh, but you're talking phone. I'm talking house internet. So that's different. Yeah, on the phone they
Ah, yeah.
definitely
Well, I
give
don't
you
pay my
reminders.
house internet, so that's different.
Yeah, no, I pay my house internet, and they got to. I had that issue with net. That's one reason. Also, I canceled it because I used to ask them, "Please send me a paper bill." They were sending like 3 times yes and then 5 times no, and I used to always pay them late. It wasn't on purpose. It was just like I forget. It's like I got a lot of stuff going on. Send me or like you said, send it via WhatsApp. Something that is gonna catch my attention. You send me something via email, I can catch it, and they wouldn't do it then. Like at the end, they sort of started anyway. Long story short, I got rid of them. Vivo's much better. It seems like we're back because I did want to share one more thing, guys. uh, and on a bit, heavier note, which is Brian. Our friend Brian Wilson, who's been on the show, by the way. Please listen to the episode on ayahuasca. That was a really good episode.
Ah, yeah.
And I mean, that was a whole lesson there. And he's usually up in the Northeast, and he's got an issue, a kidney issue here. Okay. He needs a kidney transplant, and he started a GoFundMe. So go there on Brian's page if you can, waterfall.chasers. That's the name. But if you put Brian Wilson, he'll show up, I hope. Here's his profile picture in case you're just looking him up via his name. Oh, it's not opening. There it is.
Well,
Oh,
you'll be
speaking of
more likely to get a link to the
we're
Beach
gonna get
Boys.
into the radical stuff, but look at that. Brian working his magic. Segway. Se- There's a segway into what I'm talking about. He had don't I didn't know this. He had donated his kidney to his father. And maybe he said that on the show. I don't remember him saying that. I think we just stuck to just ayahuasca. But anyway, when I didn't know that whole part of it, and now he's the one that's in need of a kidney. So if you can donate, I think he's up in the states now taking care of that, but he tends to stay down here in Brazil a lot in the Nordeste. So anyway, guys, okay, we've waited long enough. Okay, we're gonna talk a little bit now about radical Brazil. What is that? What am I talking about? Let me add this to the stage right here. And it's the fact that, like in a lot of countries, this is not anything that's just unique to Brazil. You can do a lot of radical sports, radical things down here. And I think what makes Brazil a bit different, I think a couple of things. One is it may be cheaper to do it here if you're, trying to find something to do and you're working with dollars or euros. So there's a benefit to that. Also, like the nature aspect of Brazil, like there's nothing like it on planet Earth. Like this country is big and its landscapes are diverse, and it's like one minute you're in the Grand Canyon, the next minute you're in like the Amazon, the next minute you're going down these dunes, like there's every literal, like, think of like Star Wars planets. There's like a Star Wars planet on every part of Brazil, you know? And three is just Brazilians and how they like to do things, which can be positive and negative, as we saw with the two accidents, with the accident that happened with the bungee jump. But there's a certain electricity to Brazilians and how they connect with nature in a way that even when I used to do a lot of nature stuff in the US, it's different. Like there, it was more pensive in the woods of like, you imagine you're like Robin Hood or something. Like it's a different feel. I love the American forest. I grew up, in New Jersey, the Garden State. So I grew up climbing trees and like deep in the forest, not just one of those highway forests, but like deep in there. And so when I'm in Brazil, I love hiking. We had John on that talked about hiking in Brazil, places to hike, which is great episode. Listen to that. But when I'm in the forest here and with Brazilians, it's adventure. It's like, what's behind that tree? Let's go over here. It's a different vibe, which I like too. But with that comes the dangers of like, yeah, maybe if there's a snake behind that rock, you could die, if you go behind that rock. But Brazilians, I don't know, Pete. Like they don't. Brazilians aren't like very keen on like let's make sure we do this exactly right. Right? It's just kind of like it'll work. Faith in God. What do you think? Or am I going
Yeah,
over?
yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'm from Canada, which is where camping is kind of a way of life. But the people who are good at it are, they respect the environment. When I talk to
Yes.
Brazilians about camping here, it's more or
Mm-hmm.
less just like, yeah, we're gonna go and see what happens. They don't actually put the work into it because my home province is British Columbia, and I know a few people who are rescue workers. Right, British
Yeah.
Columbia is the size of Western Europe, and most of it is wilderness. And people go out there sometimes with the idea of, just camping. There was a whole movie made about this, or a book that got turned into a movie, Into the Wild, about that
Hmm.
fucking douchebag
I
from
know
America.
this. Yep.
It wasn't British Columbia; it was Alaska. But yeah, he just like
Yeah.
went into the woods and got frozen and eaten by animals, or starved to death. We don't
Yep.
know how he died because he got eaten by animals. Um,
Yeah. I
but
think he got
Brazil
eaten
is
by a
the kind of
bear.
country where that can happen, right? It's a vast wilderness,
Exactly.
um, and
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, don't do it lightly.
Exactly. And I think that's the message of the show. I kind of, was ironic when I think things I would never do in Brazil. I don't want it to be seem like, okay, don't do any of these things because it's dangerous and you're going to die. And Brazilians don't know anything, of what they're doing, which you get that mentality sometimes, the third world mentality. Like they don't know anything. No, guys, this is a big tourist point for Brazil. Brazil makes millions off of ecotourism. Trust me, they have trained professionals and they know what they're
Yes, they
doing.
have
The thing
professional
is,
guys.
yes, but the thing, Peter, I think that's where Brazil can, you can kind of slip, you can slip on that banana peel here, is that there's a lot of people that can pose as professionals, and to somebody that doesn't know, they actually look like they know what they're doing, and then they're like these idiots here that were like, oh, we forgot to tie the rope. Like they're in court right now, they're fighting for their life, but I'll try one more time. I won't try to share the video because that's not going to happen. But you can try to see the pictures here of the girl seconds before she died, right? And like it's three dudes, one, two, three. Look, there's the rope. Come on, look at this side view here. Like, how does nobody notice that there's nothing? Like this guy's literally between her legs. Like, where would the rope be if she was laying down in front of their faces?
Yeah, well, that's
And it,
probably
I mean, if
why
you
he
watch the
forgot to
video, if
tie
you
the
got the
rope.
stomach for it, so maybe it's good that the internet's bad because it's kind of hard to stomach. But you actually see them, boom, just they throw her off the bridge. And the other thing that we were trying to see, let me see if it'll show up: helicopter crash, Rio de Janeiro. And a lot of people go on these yeah, and like I said, if you want, if you can stomach it again, they have video of right before the crash actually happened, and there was 6 people died in total. And I didn't go into why he was on this helicopter. Apparently 2 helicopters crashed in the air. As you, there you go, you can see that a little bit better. So 2 of those crashed what do you call it, there's a lot of these helicopter rides here in Brazil. Like Sao Paulo has the most helicopters flying around in the world. I think it's close to
Yeah,
500.
if you go up to Banespa
It's
Tower,
funny walking around
if
here.
you
All
if
the
you go up
helipads.
Banespa Tower, you can actually get one of the best bird's eye
There's
views
a
of the
helipad up
city.
there.
No, but you can see how
Yeah.
every building has a helipad.
Yes, yes. Even the old ones, the new ones, they all have them because the executives, they ain't staying stuck in that
Yeah,
São Paulo traffic. And in fact, Peter, they even have Uber helicopter here. They had
uh,
it at least. I, I,
yeah.
I distinctly remember them promoting it at one point, which I thought was funny. I don't know if anybody actually. I think I was kind of romancing the idea because, and that's the point I was going to get to, because they do have a lot of helicopter rides, not just here in Sao Paulo, but also in Rio, because you're going to get the best views of the city. So, again, it's popular. People do it all the time. Accidents happen. Like I said in the title
Yeah,
of the
but
video, I would never do it, but I romanced it, Peter. I romanced it for a minute because it wasn't that expensive. Like if I joined like 4 or 5 friends, we could like split it. And I was like, man, one time, but then I chickened out. I was like, I ain't getting on a fucking helicopter. Oh, I just cursed again.
yeah,
Peter, go for
but
it.
I did. I did aviation English for 2 years, and like most of these types of accidents happen because the pilots don't follow air traffic control procedures. Like there are procedures to
Yes.
prevent this sort of things, but the pilots just kind of ignore them, and that's why shit like this happens.
Yeah. Yep. There's a very sad video that you can watch on YouTube. If it's this couple, they were just leaving their wedding and they got on a helicopter, and it's the entire transmission of like when they went down, and the guy was like, dude, there was fog. Make like it was thick fog. You can see because there's a camera inside. And it's terrible to watch because they have video, and you can see as the tension rises, as they know that, oh my God, we're lost, we're in the middle of the fog. You start to see it's the desperation in the bride's face, and then eventually it just goes black because the helicopter crashed. And it's just be careful. Like if you're gonna do something like that, research. I mean, I don't know, what company to go to because I have not been, in a helicopter, nor do I plan to be in a helicopter, but research it, go online. Or like when I kind of sort of almost did it was through Uber. Okay, that's a reputable company. If I die, I don't know, somebody will get something somewhere, donate it to the homeless animals. So just do your research. That's the message of the night. But we got more crazy things that happen in Brazil. Look at this, Pete. What do you think is like the number one activity that people do here? I'll give you like five options here. There's cave exploration. That's one. Hand gliding, skydiving, base jumping, or surfing giant waves. What do you think is the most popular, per year?
Just because of it's such a coastal country, I would say surfing giant waves.
And you would be wrong. Actually, the most popular, I mean, according to ChatGPT, guys, is skydiving from 12,000 to 15,000 feet in Boituva. There's an estimated participant count of 80,000 to 150,000 jumps per year, and it costs between 700 and 1,500 reais, which is, like I said, like sometimes people come to Brazil because maybe it'll be cheaper to do a skydive here. You're gonna pay what, $100? I don't know how much it is to skydive in the US, but $100 is not much to skydive, I would imagine. The surfing giant waves here, Pete, it says that it's a few hundred serious surfers. Yeah, because that stuff is dangerous, man. I don't think a lot of people would be up for that. And that's done in Praia do Cardoso. It's about 500 to
It's big in
5,000 reais
Santos
per trip.
too, as well.
Yeah, no, Brazil has, and also there's this beach here near São Paulo. A lot of people talk about São Sebastião. Apparently, it has very, very good, what do you call it, surfing too. Hand gliding over the ocean, Pedra Bonita, Rio de Janeiro, they get about 20 to 40,000 flights per year. Cost about 700 to 1,200. And then we got base jumping. There's a lot of places to do it. Pedra do Gavião is one of the most popular. Whitewater rafting, cave exploration, kite surfing, Amazon jungle. Guys, there's so many things to do. You can
Yeah.
highline, wingsuit flying. Okay, that's crazy. Wingsuit flying. Have you seen that before? It's insane.
No, but I've heard
They look
about
like
it.
those flying squirrels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Brazil is a place where you can, there's that funny song like "Fun Ways to Die in Rio, Fun Ways to Die." So could be that this would be a fun way to die. At least, look, if I gotta go out, at least go out doing something that's thrilling and that you enjoy, right? There's that bright side of
Yeah,
that.
like do you
But
remember that priest who like shot himself to heaven?
oh,
And nobody ever
is that the one with the balloons?
Yes. Yeah, he was like
Yeah,
actually gonna
that's a
travel to
Darwin award.
heaven, on
Yes.
hot water or hot air balloons, and yeah, he went. Well, they never found his body, so maybe he made it, but
Oh, he's in
probably not.
heaven. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in
yeah,
heaven.
yeah. Well, he's not alive. We know that.
Yeah. But yeah, he's one of those Darwin Award winners. And I think it was just Pete. I
Yeah.
don't even think it was hot air balloon. I think it was a regular balloon. Wait, let me see if I can wait. Priest goes to sky in balloons, Brazil. Oh my god, this is the level of my searching.
No, but
Oh
that's
yeah, no, they
accurate.
were regular balloons, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
okay.
regular balloons. The balloon priest. Wait.
Yeah, he was
Oh
just in
man,
a
I searched
chair,
that
wasn't
image.
he? He was just like in a chair,
Yes,
hooked
that
up to
is a
balloons.
Darwin Award winner,
Yeah.
guys. It's gonna take a while, a little second to share, but once you get a view of this picture, all right, it's taking a little minute there to share, but once you see this picture, you're gonna crack up because it's hilarious. I mean, it's tragic, really, but I mean, come on,
Well,
come
no,
on, come on.
that's the
But
kind of
anyway,
thing
while
you
that's
sort of
loading,
deserve.
yeah, yeah, I have to agree. But anyway, as that's loading, um, skydiving, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Is there any? Are
Yeah,
there any
well,
of
and
these
my
that you would
brother was
consider doing,
actually
Pete? If you could?
a parachute instructor for a number of years, and
Oh, oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, and he was good at it, but he fucked up his back big time doing it. Not so
Oh,
much from the
he meant to say he
instructing.
messed up his back.
Sorry, sorry. But it was actually the military service where he was a paratrooper that messed up
Hmm.
his back. So yeah,
Ooh, English.
it's not just the fear of heights or jumping out of an airplane, but it can
Yeah.
have real physical consequences on your back when that
Oh
chute
yeah.
opens. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's mostly safe in terms of the fact that you're not going to die, but the
Hmm.
consequences it can have for your body are pretty serious. So just
So
based
you got to
on my
really be
brother's
prepared for
experiences,
that.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, but how high was he jumping? Because was doing like
Like
military stuff. So
20,000
he's
feet.
okay. Yeah, but maybe it's because of how many he did because of his training. I don't know if you do it once, but I would prepare for any of this stuff, guys. Prepare. You don't just
Yes.
go like, oh, that's like I just
Yeah,
posted
it's
a
like
video of
scuba diving is a lot safer, and even that you need some training for.
you need some training and you need to be a little fit. I just posted a video, Pete. I was at my friend Brandon's house who said he's going to be on next week, so I'm excited for that, guys. You got to meet Brandon. He's a producer down here. He's the one that produced Jordan's album. He's going to talk about his experience down here. He just he's a newbie still. He was the one, by the way. I'm going to out him. He's the one that didn't know what Festa Junina was. I was like, man, what's going
Ah,
on? So we're gonna talk to him about this next week. We're gonna grill him about this. But anyway, um, the I posted a video of from his apartment. He's like on the 25th, whatever floor, and he can see Pico de Jaraguá, which is this big mountain you have here in São Paulo. It's beautiful, and you can go there. It's about an hour by bus. You get there, and it's about an hour and a half hike, and you're at the top of this peak, and it's the highest point in the city of São Paulo, and you can see the entire city, and it's like it's something out of a movie, guys, because it's endless. I mean, you kind of get a feel for it when you're, coming by plane and you look out the window and it's like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and all you see is building, 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 building. But you're like, oh, is this ever going to end? But when you see it from the peak, you have more of a panoramic view and then you really appreciate the size of the city. I've been up there about 3 or 4 times and it's a really cool trip and it's a cheap trip. But even for something like that, it's like you got to prepare. Like it is at the end of the day a hike. Like it's an easy hike, but you're going up for an hour. So bring water. walk around the neighborhood a little bit, train your feet, get ready for stuff like that. And then when you do longer hikes, like I've talked about on the show when John was on, we did these like 3 day hikes, to go all the way down to the beach, to the shore, and you're just going down the mountains. And it's awesome, but man, you got to prepare your feet. We're walking, there was the beginning of that hike. It starts at midnight, basically, we get there is just going down these railroad tracks in the dark. If the internet wasn't so bad, I'd show you some cool pictures of that. And you're stepping on a lot of stuff, mostly rocks. You always try to hit just the tracks, like when you're a little kid, but it's impossible in the dark. And then there's a little, like, what do you call those, Pete? Like those big ass nails, those brass. I got a couple of those in my house. They're like little memoirs. I took a couple of those little brass links, whatever. So it's tough, but you can do it. And I think it's a really cool thing to do is to get to know Brazil like in that aspect, because that's such a part of Brazil. Life is, Pete. Did
Yes, he
ask
has a
here,
very
what
good
thrill
question
seeking
here.
activities do you and Pete want to do in the future? I talked a little bit about the past, but what about you?
Um, I would like
Uh-oh.
to like do a real hardcore Amazon trek, but I would like to do it with seasoned professionals, vetted professionals with
Hmm.
recommendations, because a lot of people have done this before and they never came back. All right, this is actually in one of my ESL textbooks about these three foreign dudes. I forget where they were from. I think they were from England. And yeah, they went into the Amazon with unvetted guides. The guides lost them, and one of them actually managed to come back, but the other two never did. I don't know if this was in Brazil, actually. I think it might have been in Peru. But the point is, the Amazon is huge. It's sparsely populated. It's full of dangerous animals. Even the plants will kill you. The ants will kill
And
you.
dangers. Hmm.
Yes, yes. So it's something I'd really like to experience, but there is no freaking way I am doing that without a travel guide who has like 100 recommendations that can be verified. So yeah, that's my thrill-seeking adventure. See the Amazon, but do it with a professional.
I'm What you said right now, I think, is another key thing that we gotta keep reminding people is get recommendations. Like when we say research, it's let me see what oh, thank you. Sorry guys, I was looking for something here. Um, get recommendations. Like find friends who have gone and they will tell you they're the best recommendation you can get because they're people that actually did the tour and they said, "Oh, it was amazing. The
And
guy
they lived.
knew everything."
They're lived. You don't get recommendations from
Say,
dead people.
"Oh, this is true," but I mean, you can get recommendations from crippled people, so you never know. Like maybe they
Yeah.
just had a bad
Or
experience.
liars.
Sometimes you
Or
go on a
liars.
tour. Yeah, yeah, but usually when people like do things like this, they're outside the norm. It's something that they're going to
Right.
remember for a long time. And sometimes just something as dumb as like the tour guide was really rude. Like, okay, the place was beautiful, it was safe, it was cool, but we didn't feel welcome. It was like we were getting rushed through, boom, 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 boom. You know, that can change your whole perspective of like an experience. So it's always good to just get a recommendation, but especially one that really talks about safety, how easy it was to get there. Because another thing, guys, and I'm seeing this a lot in these Facebook groups with these expat Facebook groups, is the what do you call it? People getting overcharged for stuff. People getting the what they call the gringo tax. I always call it, the gringo discount, ironically, but you're gonna pay 200 for something that costs like 10. It happens all the time. So be
Yeah.
careful. Also, be careful with using your credit cards because they can clone them. Go ahead, Pete. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I came into this a lot in China. I my girlfriend and I, we went with our son to a restaurant near the Great Wall, which is one of the no, it is the most touristy place in China. And I knew that they had different menus for the foreigners and the Chinese. So I asked to see a Chinese menu, right? And I could read Chinese at that time. So I was ordering off the menu and I thought it was being all clever. But my girlfriend asked for some scrambled eggs for my son, and they charged us 80 RMB for them. And like
Oh my god.
normally, like most restaurants in a normal Chinese city would do that for you free. They'd be like, oh, your baby's cute, sure, we'll scramble some eggs. So
Hmm.
that's the same everywhere. Like any place that
You got to be
attracts
careful.
tourists or caters to tourists will try and take
Yep.
advantage of you.
Exactly. We
I
got
mean,
hit with that.
Even the US, man, like cab drivers in the
Yes.
US will like
Oh, they're the
drive
best.
you
They're
in
the best.
circles to take you to a place you could have walked to in
Yep.
3 blocks.
I know. So you got to be careful with that. I think what makes it more difficult here is the language barrier, because a lot of times, if you speak the language, you can kind of tell when somebody's about to get shisty. Sometimes, not all the times, obviously, you'll get scammed. But then I think the cultural and language barrier make it tougher, at least even for me, dude, because I've been around. So in the U.S., I knew a lot of different types of people, and I could kind of. I think I'm a pretty good read of character, and I get it pretty quickly when like somebody's just not my vibe or they are. And here in Brazil, I've been effed over so many times. I'm just finally 10 years later, kind of sort of figuring out who's a worthy person and who isn't, to like be in my circle, because it's tough. Brazilians just have something about them. They're charming. They're like, so you don't even realize you're getting scammed. Like at least you found out when the bill came. You won't find out you got scammed till like 2 weeks later in your home, and you see, oh, I have $100,000 charge on my card. Like, when did that happen? So it's tricky down here.
Yeah,
That's why I emphasize.
it's like what Ray Liotta says in Goodfellas. Your killers always
Mhm.
come to you with smiles on their faces.
This is true. This is true. So here you got to be careful with that. I'm trying to get something here for you guys, but look at this. I turned the camera on quickly just to show you the what I was talking about here. I have one of these here that I use as like a book little stand, and this is from walking on those trails, on the railroad in the middle of the night. I got I think two more of these, and I love them. I use them as door stops, and it just reminds me of that hike. That was such a cool moment in my life doing that hike. And I'm thinking of like what radical thing I do now, Pete, because I'm definitely like I don't even like flying in an airplane. So none of these really interest me. Like doing like skydiving or but I'd like to do like a really long hike again, like one that's like a week, maybe two, and just like go off into the woods for real. Like for me, that would be awesome. And like some of those pictures, guys, go back if you're into nature. Search whatever video that was. I'll try to link it here somewhere, where John talks about all the hikes he's been on. And those images are amazing. And just the fact that he walked all the way up to those mountains is really cool. So I'd like to do another long hike, or maybe something related to water, because I've always been kind of scared of like too much stuff with water. But I did like canoeing when I was younger. So I wouldn't mind getting in a river again and like start canoeing or kayaking or something. I think I'd be really happy if I did that, in fact. Now, I just want to move on a little bit, Pete, because I know it's late. It's 11:30. It's past our bedtime. But just so you know, guys, that the nature part I think is the most important. But really quick, Sao Paulo, Rio, all these big cities also have a lot of these kind of non-nature things. Like we talked about the helicopter tour, but like dinner in the sky is here in Sao Paulo. It costs about
Mhm.
400 reais. And it's popular, guys. It says here 5,000 to 50,000 participants each year, or the helicopter rides are between 50 and 100,000. Those are the top two. Man, I thought about it, Pete, but I was like, nah, that's not happening.
No,
Just not for me.
no,
Uh,
no. I
but
really wanted to
I
go to
did.
Sampa Sky actually, but you can only book it on the internet. You can't just show up and go. You have to book
Yeah.
your appointment weeks in advance. So
Well,
if you
it
wanted to,
winds up all.
if you do want to do that, but you can't book on the internet, my advice is go to Benespa Tower because there you can, and I think it's only like 20 AIs, and it's a great view. It's a good old school
Mhm.
building, Art Deco from the 1920s, styled
Yeah.
after the Empire State Building. There's a cool little museum there. It attracts a good crowd. So yeah, if you can't go to Sampa Sky, which is also kind of expensive, go to Benespa, man. Benespa only costs like 20 IIs and you get an amazing view from there.
Yep, and it's right downtown São Paulo. It's a building that kind of looks like what's that?
It's the Empire State Building.
The building
It
in New
was a
York.
direct ripoff of the Empire State Building.
The Empire
Because
State Building. Yes,
architects are
yes,
like
it
that.
is a direct
Architects are
ripoff of
lazy.
that. Yeah.
Because all they do is draw pictures.
But it's a
One of
pretty
my
place.
best friends used to be an architect, and he told me like his entire university portfolio he ripped off just by walking around the streets and drawing pictures of other buildings. So, yeah, architects can be kind of lazy.
There you go. And I believe is this the one that has the cultural center, or is that Banco do Brasil? I get the two buildings confused. I think the other one is uh Centro, wait, which is a pretty building too. Centro Cultural Banco do Brasil. And that's another interesting place. Take advantage of the fact that we got a little bit of internet work. You might as well show you a couple of these things. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a real pretty
That's a
building,
different building.
and it's a cultural center. And I like this view here because it kind of shows how it's set up. Like you usually you get your ticket down here. Yeah, no, it's totally different. But I get the names mixed up in my head. So like I always associate them as the same building, but they're completely different. Because one is Banespa and the other one is the Centro Cultural Banco do Brasil. There's a lot of bees, so it's like it gets my brain all twisted. Anyway, yeah. So you do have like Pete said, you can go up that skyline. Although Pete, speaking of Brandon, like I met him at this building where there's a studio, and I saw that in this building there was the sky view, whatever, like a little ticket booth. So I think maybe there, maybe it's something recent, but I think I saw people in there booking that. Like if you don't have internet, or if you just maybe you're just passing through Sao Paulo, you can buy. Well, maybe not passing through, but you can buy tickets like at a box office now.
Okay.
But it is it's
The two
pricey.
buildings are
Night.
really close too, though. So
Mhm.
I imagine the view is the same. I think the difference with the new one is that you're in a glass elevator, right? So it's like the CN
Exactly. No,
Tower.
that's the whole appeal of it. Exactly. That's the appeal of it because it's like you're walking on air, because
Yeah,
you got to walk out in this box. I think it's Chicago. I think was one of the first cities to have it, and it just spread around the world. Same with this.
Toronto has it too. The
Okay, and the
CN
same with
Tower.
this in the garden one, the eat in the garden, the eating up in the sky one. I think started in
Yeah.
London or whatever. It's all this stuff that travels around. In Sao Paulo, though, something that you can do that's very Sao Paulo is the cemetery tours, the historic cemetery. So if you go
Mm,
at night, actually, they had one for Festa, no, not Festa Junina, the Cultural, the Virada Cultural. They had one for that I did not go to. I'm not trying to walk around
yeah.
cemeteries.
I've
Um,
been I've I've been doing that since before I lived in Sao Paulo because there are some beautiful cemeteries here and they're
oh, they
really
are.
old.
Hmm. And a lot of them are like those New Orleans style cemeteries where you get the crypts and stuff. So I've passed through cemeteries, and because you can't avoid them. That's for one, because there's two really big ones in the city. The one on Consolação and the one that's close to Pinheiros, which I forgot the name, but it's a different name. And you can't
No,
miss them.
there
You know,
is
they're
another
huge.
one actually. I think is better than
Yes,
either
there's
of
three
those.
big ones. I don't know what's the other one
The
because I know there's three
the
big
other
ones.
one is the one that's across from the big hospital, the one across from Clinicus.
Oh
There,
yeah, I
there's a big one
forgot.
across from Clinicus, and it's got
Yeah, I
these really
forgot.
nice hilltops, and they have this huge
Hmm.
plot that's reserved just for police officers. So I don't think funny is the word to use for, it, but it's an amusing one to go for. Um, when you see
Hmm.
like all these police who were killed in the line of duty, because you see like the born
Hmm.
dates and the death dates, and it's like, dude, you didn't last long, man.
Good Lord. Well, yeah, being a police officer in São Paulo, I don't think that has a very long yeah, expiration date, sadly, because it is a dangerous city, man, for police officers. Uh, anyway, what else can you do in São Paulo? You can sleep. Oh no, or you can sleep in a treehouse deep in the Amazon. Yeah, okay. You can go shark diving, cave floating, hot air ballooning. That's the one I wanted to get to. That's
Yeah,
very
that's a
popular
really
down
big
here,
thing
guys.
here. Oh my
Super
God, hot
popular.
air
Yeah.
ballooning. When I was teaching pilots, one of the questions I always ask them, because this is on their test, is how dangerous are hot air balloons to aviation? And I was always expecting them to say, it's not that big a deal. And they're like, no, dude, it's a huge fucking problem because like they're not registered with any air traffic controllers, and like during certain times of year, especially in Rio de Janeiro, they're in the air all the time, and they can cause like engine failure, engine fire. They can cause so many problems, but it's a big thing.
I imagine it's like geese for American pilots. I don't
Well,
know. Yeah, because I didn't think of
well,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
because they're just kind of
but we
floating
have bird
wherever.
issues here as well. So it's like you have geese and hot air balloons.
An added issue.
Yes.
Oh my lord. Yeah, I can imagine that that would
And
be an issue.
drones
But
now
guys,
too.
like Pete
Drones are a
said,
big issue.
oh, ooh, imagine what hell that would be for a pilot. We don't think of these things because we're not piloting, but yeah, these are things that I bet pilots
Yeah.
go to
Well,
bed
at least
thinking about
drones you
every night.
only encounter
That's
during
crazy.
takeoff and landing, but hot air balloons you can encounter at a high altitude. And the worst thing is actually that hot air
Exactly.
balloons are powered with hydrogen. So if that shit makes contact with the engine, man, the whole plane's gonna explode. As far as I know, it's never happened, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, I think that why it's never happened is because it's kind of regulated, guys. So hopefully you never have a rogue uh, balloon, But mostly they got to stay within that area, and so the city in São Paulo where that happens is called Boituva. Okay, and it's very very popular. But I know there was an accident a few years ago, and oh yeah, whew, that was a sad one. Um, but it was in hot air balloon caught on camera. Yeah, it was a balloon that caught fire as this balloon catches fire, guys, and it's really another one that they got it. They got the images, so it's this one right here, this first one, because it's happened a lot. But this is if I'm not mistaken, it's that one right there. But anyway, Peter, we're about to close down shop, man. Too many
Yeah, I
radical
want to
things
get
for me.
smokes
Another
before
thing that you
everything
can
closes.
maybe do, Peter, is drive a Ferrari because Sao Paulo loves racing. Loves racing. Yes.
Well, I don't know how to
So if
drive,
you're into
so
racing, Sao Paulo has a lot
that's
of that.
never
I
gonna
think
happen.
our friend Jakira, I think Jakira did this. If I'm not mistaken, Jakira, I gotta get her on because she's into this stuff. Actually, I just saw a picture of her rappelling. So she's into all this stuff. So we'll get her on and see what kind of crazy stuff she's done. Attend a Bailey Funk. They got this on the list. This is number 20. This is the last one, Pete. You ever, Pete, actually, you were kind of in a Bailey Funk in Children's Day, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
But I
that
don't
that
know if
one
Pete
where
would
we
last.
went to the favela on Children's Day, and
Mhm.
it was a mix
Mhm.
of kids parties and like drunk chicks twerking with their boyfriends.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Madman Clan was there. If you want to hear some old school cool rap, like those guys have been around, it's like listening to the Temptations. Like they've been around. Madman Clan, love them. So check them out. They're old school rap, and they were jamming, man. They were jamming. But anyway, Pete, that's a radical thing. But look, I'm going to close on this note, Pete, because I don't know why ChatGPT put that there. So that's why, guys, like use ChatGPT, but use it wisely, because that's
Now I
like
would say
not a radical thing to do.
never use
Oh,
Chat GPT.
I do it. I do it. I fess up.
No, because what
But
Chat
I'll tell you
GTP does is it searches the internet for information, but it doesn't verify how accurate it is.
exactly. Well, that's the point I'm getting to is that you got to verify the information and make sure it's okay. Or if you get every technical issue in the world, just like say, hey, by the way, this is ChatGPT. Do your own research. But for the most part, everything I saw there was legitimate or correct, except for I take umbrage. And look, I'm using the good English now. I take umbrage at them putting favela as a radical thing to do. Guys, this show, and I think I can speak for Peter, is against favela tours. I mean, I don't know if Pete
Mhm.
are you into favela tours, Pete? Say no, please.
No, actually,
Thank you.
A
There you go.
Chinese
There's a
friend of
story.
mine was actually a stewardess, and she posted on Facebook that she was going to take a favela tour when she had a stopover in Rio. And I was like, man, you're treating these people like zoo animals. Like, yeah, their
There you
lifestyle,
go.
their
Keep
poverty
those for
is not something to be a spectator sport. Like, I understand wanting to see a favela, sort of, kind of, not really, because I lived in one, and now,
Mhm.
now that I don't live in one, I'm quite happy to never see another one again. But the point is, when you go there as an outsider, just to see it as tourism, you're really kind of disrespecting these people, and I honestly don't blame them if they want to kill you.
Yeah, and I think there's two sides to that because inside the favela there are parties, and I recommend going to city. Like I said, I've been to Paraisópolis a bunch of times to the Jesus said she Baile Funky. It is fun. So okay, they did say Baile Funk, so maybe I don't want to side with ChatGPT, but I didn't like the whole favela aspect of it. Okay, you're going to a Baile Funk. It's like okay, you're going to a specific party, and you know, go with friends. Like that's one thing I think is
That's
weird. Like
it.
if you pay
That's it.
somebody to take you as a guide to go to like that's stupid. It's like imagine me paying somebody to be a guide to take me to a regular club in New York City.
Yeah, well,
It's like that's
it's like
stupid.
paying a black dude to take you through Watts in the dark and with like
Exactly.
the Crips and the
Exactly. It
Bloods,
comes
you know.
yes, it for me it comes off as a weak move, but that's me, right? I went to these Baileys because it's like, hey, I know these people. Like I was invited to go to the Bailey Funk. Of course, I'm gonna go. And it was like the time of my life. except for when like we got smoke bombed by the police and stuff like that. But things that happen in Baile Funks. But so like I've been to Rio a couple of times. Like I don't know anybody that lives in the favela. I have no reason to be in a favela. I did not want to actually go to the parties up there because they seem a little bit more hardcore. They got the boys with the AKs and everything. Down here in Sao
Yeah.
Paulo, it's chill. Like they will show. Like if you show a weapon at one of these parties in Sao Paulo, that's it for you. That's when you'll see the AKs come out. Rio's a little bit reversed. They like to like,
Yeah, so
you know,
Sao
it's out.
Paulo, I think, was the city that where the favelas really enforced the COVID lockdown. Actually,
Yeah, they
like
did. Oh
you're
no,
not
the
wearing a
boys down here have
mask,
it on
dude.
lock.
That's when the
Hmm.
AKs come out.
Yeah, yeah, no, they have a very they have things on lock, as they do in Rio. So when you get up there, just that it's a different style, you know, just it's more open, and that you know for me too open for me. Like I don't want to see it, so I don't really have an interest in going there. But why would I? That's the thing. It's like because it's like as Pete said, it's like paying a black dude to take you to like a black neighborhood because you're a white person. It's like for me, it's a weak move to like pay somebody to take you to a party. Get invited, and Brazilians are very
Yeah,
willing to
and
invite you to
it's not
places. So
hard to do either.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
or
Yes, it's very easy to
another
make friends
option
here.
is you can do what I did, which is
Hmm.
like live there. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know I didn't plan on living in a favela. I just like I got this address and I was
Hmm.
walking through the neighborhood with my suitcase, getting all these stares and feeling like,
Yes.
okay, I'm really not comfortable, but they seemed to respect the fact that I had suitcases. It's like, okay, obviously this crazy motherfucker is planning on moving here, and I found my building and I lived there for a while. And, most of the people who lived on my street came to recognize me, know me as part of the community. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, man, you're like Favela Salhimo, it's on a hill, right?
Yep.
So you have Avenida Salhimo, which was the street I lived on. But then you
São
can go
Remo.
further. Yeah, then you can go further up the hill. And
Yeah.
sometimes, like if I went further up the hill to buy something, people
Yes.
wouldn't recognize me. And I felt really threatened. Like I
Hmm.
had to say, like, no, dude, I live here. Like I'm just down the street. Sorry, I intruded on your territory. Like some
Yeah.
of these people really resent people who are obvious outsiders because the majority of them are mixed race or black, and someone like myself sticks out, and
Hmm.
when they see you there, like they're like, "No, you're not welcome here, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of my
Hmm.
neighborhood."
Yeah, because it's a tight knit community, and it's like, why are you here? And it's the same guys, because I went to school in Philly. I went to Temple, and I lived in Philly for a while. And I had a friend, Mr. Victor, who was actually my first bandmate, if you want to call it that. He played the trumpet, I played the guitar. That was my first band. And he lived in West Philly, man. I mean, there's two West Phillies. There's University of Pennsylvania West Philly, which you can walk around at night and blah 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 and do do do. And I did a lot. And then there's West Philly, which is just the bricks. It's where it's a little bit rougher. And depending on where you go, man, it's like if you're not from there, you're like people let you know that we see you, you know. So my friend Vitor, whenever I went to his house, he'd be like, "Man, just walk in a straight line, like don't stop." He's just like the neighborhood wasn't that rough, but it was enough where he's just like, yeah, just walk in a straight line and don't stop and da da da. And it was okay. But it's like imagine you're taking a tour to go to a place like that. Or imagine even worse, Pete, and I say this a million times, I've said it on the show. The scariest place I've ever been in my life is not anywhere in Brazil, it's Southwest Philadelphia. I went there one night after a Cirque du Soleil show with a friend. I don't know. I think he wanted to get with me. I wasn't having it. And so he went home, and I was like, oh, I got to take a trolley, whatever. I didn't even know how to get back because the Philly metro system or the whatever public transportation system is really confusing past the metro system because they got all these trolleys. And man, I was scared shitless out there. Like even the little kids, Pete, they're walking by and they're looking at you. Like, I'm like, what? Get me out of here. I just didn't like the vibe at all. And Southwest Philly is a very dangerous place. I found out later. I didn't even know at the time. I just was like, okay, well, I guess we're dropping them off in Southwest Philly. And I felt it. Boom. I felt that way. You know where else, Peter? Centro, Rio de Janeiro. That is another place that it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of sensitive with stuff like this. And I had picked up my ex at the time, or ex now, but not at the time, in São Cristóvão, which is a neighborhood. That's where I told that story where I took that crazy van down there. And we decided, because, hey, we walk around, let's walk from São Cristóvão just to like that downtown where the show was going to be, the Vivo Theater. So to do that, we had to like walk past downtown. And man, that was like The Walking Dead, Pete. It was scary, you know?
Yeah.
And
Downtown
we
Sao
walked
Paulo can be
really
like that
fast.
too on weekends.
It can be. It's gotten better because they have a lot more security. But it's like São Paulo. The thing that saves São Paulo a little bit, guys, is that it's spread out. So it, like Pete said, it can definitely be like that. But there's areas you kind of just know. All right, I can make it from this point to this point and not feel like I'm being like stalked by zombies, more or less. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna see a homeless dude,
well, that
but you
that
can
was
avoid it.
that's the thing. Like, you
Go,
need to know where these
yes.
places are, because this is what happened to me in
Oh
Cracklandia,
no.
right?
Yes, when you got
Because
off. Mm-hmm.
the subway closed, so I was literally stuck
Yes.
in Luz, and I was like, okay, so I need to get from the subway to the bus terminal without getting killed. And I thought to
Exactly.
myself, that's going to be really fucking hard. So I had my spidey sense going. I was looking everywhere, and I
Yes.
seriously made it 3 blocks. I got jumped by 3 guys. I
Yeah, it's
had all the
crazy.
alarm bells on, but I
No, I
still
get
got
you.
jumped.
Yeah, I get you, but that's the thing, and that's where I'm telling you it's different because in Rio is like there it's tighter. Here like you at least had the sense of like I know São Paulo, I know how São Paulo is. I can maybe sort of maybe try to avoid this, but you were in an area that's really hard to avoid, which is Cracolândia. But like when you walk down Centro of Rio, it's like it's just left and right and forward. It's just like boom, you're there. You hit with everything that you got to see at once. And I mean, thinking back as a first time seeing that, it shocked me and it scared me and it made me walk faster. And this is somebody that's walked around downtown Sao Paulo for like 5, 7, 8 years. Like I've been everywhere, son, down here in Sao Paulo. Like I don't care. Pop, pop, pop. So for me to feel that scared and that like nervous, I was like, oh my god, it was weird. I don't know how it is now because it's been a long time since I've been back to Rio. Not my favorite city in the world, but I will get back there someday. And in fact, we may have a guest from Rio on a very special anniversary of the show. I'm trying to make that happen because I miss this guy. It's just a different feel. But anyway, Peter, I think we're done, right?
Yeah,
I blabbed
yeah. I
on
need to
enough.
go get cigarettes before all the bars close.
There you go. And I don't even know what that last rant was about, which means it's past my bedtime. Guys, I love you. Thank you for making this show work. Thank you for like keeping with us even through technical difficulties. I'm gonna go pay my internet bill too, just to double check. But next week, we will get Brandon on here, and he's gonna tell us a little bit about his life down here in São Paulo. He's a newbie, okay? He's still getting to know the place and the vibe of the place, and he's
Well,
a
he's
real
been
nice
here for two
dude. He's
years, right? He's not
man,
exactly a newbie.
man. It took me like 10 years to finally figure some things out. So trust me, he's a baby
True.
compared to us. He's a baby. He's a
Yeah.
2-year-old.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he'll be here. He'll talk about that. He'll talk about his music, his production, the stuff that he's doing with that whole connecting people and places and things. and it's going to be a wonderful night. So I really hope everybody can join us. And like I said, I got a few special guests lined up, hopefully for the next couple weeks, coming to our 100th show, which I'm really excited about. And we, maybe we'll take a little walk down memory lane with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But thank you guys. This is all because of you. Oh, I'm sorry, Pete. No, I got to answer this question. And it was like I looked at it and said in my mind, great question, and then sidetracked. But before we go, yes, I'll answer this real quick, Pete, if you want to add something to it. Yes and no. Life is because if you're taking those favela tours, the money sometimes goes to the traffickers. Not sometimes, most of the time, because the only way that you're being allowed to take that favela tour is because the traffickers are allowing that to happen, because nobody is just going to ride up any of those hills in Rio de Janeiro. It's just not going to happen. In fact, there's a
Mhm.
lot of news stories. I remember back in the day, remember, Pete, there's a lot of these news stories about tourists, like this Swedish couple. They were following ways, and it took them to like the mouth of a favela. Man, no questions asked. Pa, 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 pa. They shot the couple down. There's two or
Mhm.
three stories like that happened. I remember back in the day when Waze was just coming out, because Waze couldn't figure out, like, what's a street. It's just a straight line. It doesn't know you're cutting through a favela. So be careful with that when you're driving. Like I said, in Sao Paulo, it's a little bit easier to avoid. You kind of notice that you're getting into like a grittier area before it just hits you. But in Rio, it seems like it's a bit different. Like my experience I just told you about walking down Centro. I was cool in São Cristóvão. I was cool near the Vivo Theater. I was cool even through that crazy van ride. And then we just got out the Uber, because now I remember we did take an Uber, but we didn't have that much money. So we got off at Centro. We said, oh, it's like a 20-minute walk. Let's do it. Man, that was crazy. It was like really messed up. It was like a different vibe. But anyway, that's what's going on there. Life is. I think the money's going back into like people's hands that you don't want it to get to. That's my opinion. I'm nothing to like factually back that up. Just make that clear. Peter, you got a
Mhm.
similar feeling? If you got a
Yeah,
similar
I
feeling,
mean, it depends on the city, or
there you go.
actually, it depends on the favela. Because
Yes,
I mean, I think
true.
in like Salhimo, which is the favela I lived in, I don't think drug lords are charging people to go there. But then again, nobody is coming to Salhimo for tourism anyway. They're
I
going,
agree.
they're going to the interesting ones in Rio de Janeiro.
I
So
agree with the
yeah,
beautiful views. That's why people want to get up there, because the views are incredible. Best views of the city.
exactly. They're all up in the hills.
Yeah.
In Perisopolis, actually, they may charge for that.
No, they
Um,
don't. They don't. I've never seen it,
okay,
at least.
all
Yeah.
right. So yeah,
But I think, yeah.
if you're paying for a favela tour, the money is probably going into the wrong hands, because
Yeah.
the favelas that are probably the most fun are not allowing tours.
I agree. And I think that mostly goes for the Rio favelas, because those are the ones that take you all the way up to the top of the hill. Because a lot of the favelas, the more touristy ones, like when I was in Salvador, I went to a favela there. I just walked in. I was really respectful, of course, but it's a touristy one. It's called Gamboa. I recommend it if you go there. And I walked the whole thing, man. And actually, I acted as tour guide, because I told my friends when they arrived the other day, let's all go to Gamboa. And I just took them. And we were walking around. Da, da, da. And, there's, you'll know when you're in a touristy favela, or it'll be on a tour guide, or Google search it. And when you're in one that's a real favela, the ones that are like the real ones, then it's like walking into somebody's house. Like anything could happen. That person can greet you with a smile or with a gun. Now, the touristy ones, you can kind of hang around like the entrance. Like when I took Pete, because I got family that lives in the Jacqueline near my house.
Oh, yeah, that was
So
nice.
Pete, yeah, Pete didn't, he wasn't doing anything. So we invited him. But you see, like, that's like a real relaxed part. It's just like an extension of the city, of like, a regular neighborhood. But obviously, you can see that it has different features. But as you go deeper into Jacqueline, and I've walked around damn near most of that favela, but there were places I didn't even know that I knew, and then I was like, oh, I didn't know that street even existed.
Yeah.
So there's places that okay, that's where the business is going down. I don't
Yeah,
want to
and
go there.
and this
And the
actually even happened to me when I went back to Hiopicano on a Christmas day actually,
Mhm.
because there is no place open. But I know a favela always has a bar open on Christmas Day,
Of
so
course,
I went back
mandatory.
to Hiopicano just to have a few beers actually, thinking
Yes.
that like people would remember me, so it would be like a safe place. But there were people who were like, "What the fuck are you doing here, man? Like, it's Christmas Day. Like, get the fuck home to wherever you came from." And yeah, like all the goodwill had just evaporated because all the decent people that I remembered were doing Christmas shit with their families. And the only people in the street were the fucking gangsters. And they're like, no, get the fuck out of
Oh
here,
my
man.
god. Yes, no, it can be weird. Like, I don't know, man. I have some guardian angels because I remember when I met my biological dad, I was in Capão Redondo a lot. Like almost every weekend I was in Capão Redondo. And I got this weird sound in my ear now. But and what do you call it? And my little brother, he took me to a party in the favela. He's like, "No, you gotta go to a party in the favela." I was like, "All right, let's go." Man, I can't. I got so wasted that night. I don't remember how I landed outside, but I remember when I woke up, I was like outside the party, but I wasn't like thrown out or anything. I think I was just guided out and put by a tree. And yeah, and then they all came out. They're like, "Oh, are you okay? Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine, man." But I walked all through that place. It is huge. Like you see pictures of Capão Redondo, it is so big, and wherever through those, it's like you're walking through a labyrinth. And like, but that's not a place like Pete said. It's not a touristy place. What makes the ones in Rio, and that's why I think there's a big differential when you talk about these favela tours, and it's mostly for Rio because Rio has those views. Is
Yeah.
up in the mountains, and that's incomparable. Like, who wants to go to like a favela down here in São Paulo? It's ugly, most of them, or not. I shouldn't say ugly, but it's just plain. It's just like a neighborhood. Um, but you do have, like, for example, Paraisópolis is a very famous little museum there that this guy made of like just pieces of like rubber and tire. Is really cool. Reminds me of like in Philadelphia we had this thing called the magic garden or something. That was this guy made with like little bits of glass and stuff, which unfortunately they're tearing down or tore down, but it's an iconic little space in Philly. And this is kind of like that, Pete. Like you walk in, but this is like a corridor, and it's all these like made with like bottle caps. It's gorgeous. So it's a touristy place that happens to be in Paraisópolis, but it's like on the outer rim where you can kind of still walk in. Like, I mean, nobody's gonna be on the door like, you can't, like, this is it, you can't pass the space. You can freely walk into Paraisópolis. You can go to that place yourself, or you can hire somebody to take you. But there's a feeling that, okay, that person is actually getting all that money because there's not a regulation. It's not regulated in the same way the real ones are, where it's like if you get into a past a certain point, you got it, kind of like what happened to you, Pete, that day that the one place wasn't open. You had to go up a little bit more. It's like, yo, you passed the limit of where you're allowed to go. That's all that happened.
Mhm.
But anyway, Pete's dying here because he needs some smokes. So I'm gonna let everybody go. I hope I answered your question, Life is, and thank you everybody that joined in last minute. There, we got a bunch of viewers. And here's my outro music to like make it official, guys. It is late. I love you guys. I was stressed today. My anxiety was up. It really was. I had a crappy day, but I feel so much better now. I love hanging out with you people. You make it worthwhile to be up late on a Monday. And I love you, Pete. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Bye
good.
bye.
Bye.